party people. My name is Lyric, and this is my co-host, Christos. Welcome to the Spectrum Podcast, where we roll the dice to see which topic we'll be discussing today. Today's topic is a little bit more serious, as we will be discussing Prader-Willi syndrome with our guest, Andrea Hoyt.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Andrea. So, quick question. What exactly is Prader-Willi syndrome?
So, Prader-Willi syndrome is based on your genetics, and it's through I don't know exactly, but you can get tested for it when you're a baby or when you're a toddler. But some people are born with it, and they have certain distinct features, like they have more rounded eyes, or shorter than the average person, or you can get tested, meaning genetic testing that you could get done when you're like more mature in age, like I was, and that's how I found about how I had it.
All right, now it's my turn. I just want a disclaimer. This is outside of my field of knowledge. So if any of the facts stated here sound new to me, that's the reason why. So can I ask, when did you or your parents discover you had this disorder?
I found out that I had this disorder when I was about in my 10 or earlier years of life, because I was eating so much that my parents didn't know what was going on. So we went to this special doctor. I was living in Connecticut back then, and they told me to go to this special Prader-Willi doctor in Long Island. So that's when I started finding out more about the syndrome.
So, what's it like living with Prader-Willi syndrome? It can't be easy, right?
Oh no, it's very hard. Everywhere you go, there's like food everywhere. And that's part of one of the challenges that I face every day. My body can't understand when I'm full. Like, most people can eat like a plate of food and say, oh, okay, my stomach hurts, I need to stop eating. With me, I don't know when to stop eating. So I either, there's a spectrum, like the name of this podcast, where people like me, for instance, I know when to stop eating, but it just looks so good, and I can't help it. And then there's the other end of the spectrum, when they have to actually go to the hospital because they have a blockage in their bowel system, and that's not good either. So that's really one really hard challenge of having PWS. And you can have, there's other ways in the spectrum too, like you can dig through the trash and look for food that way, or there's a broad spectrum of people with this disorder.
Do you have any goals despite that?
Well, despite having PWS, I do want to live independently like most people with disabilities have, but it would look different for me because the closets have to be locked, everything has to be locked, so I can't access food and become overweight and stuff like that. So because of this, maybe like moving to a shared living house would be good, where a family takes you in or a couple takes you in and lives at your house, but the pantry would have to be locked up, the fridge would have to be locked up, so you can live a normal life with this disability, but it just has to be different, if you know what I'm saying.
What would you say is the hardest thing about living with this disability, this disease?
The hardest thing, like I said before, is like I can't eat anything I want. Like I can't have pizza every day or stuff like that. I have to be on a very strict diet, and staff cook for me, and I have to be on a low calorie diet. Like I can't have like a coffee that has tons of cream and sugar in it. I have to have it modified so I don't gain more weight, or have the refrigerator in your house locked so I can't adjust food.
Is there a special school for her people with a Prader-Willi syndrome?
Yes, there's actually one located in Brewster, and it's called the Latham School. And it's not everyone that has PWS. It actually hosts multiple kinds of people that have had different trauma in their lives. But yes, a majority of the people that do go to the school have Prader-Willi syndrome. And it's not your typical kind of school where you go to school and come home. They actually board you, like have room and board. So I'm glad that they have a school like that for me, because that's how I managed to keep my weight down and have everything made for me, all my food made for me. And they took a lot of good care for me there.
What are some of the big misconceptions about your disability?
Like, just for everyone like that has a disability, or people I know, the disability doesn't make you. Like, I still have a disability, but I can live through my disability. I live a good life. I live in a group home, and people take care of me, and I have friends and everything like that. So it's not like, oh, I have a disability, I can't be normal. I'm a normal human. I go to day program, I have a job, and do things like normal people do.
Now that we talked about living with Prader-Willi syndrome, can you tell us some more things about that you know, or that you have in common with people that do not have PWS?
Yeah, I love playing video games. I love watching movies. I do Special Olympics all year round, which is pretty cool. And I like to do diamond art, and hang out with my friends, go to the mall, all the stuff that people my age have in common with each other.
So you're basically a normal person aside from your disability.
Yeah, I'm basically a normal person beyond my disability.
Make a mental note of that, everyone, please.
Yeah. People might have disabilities like Prader-Willi syndrome, Down syndrome, autism, but they're still human beings.
Quirky, sure, but they're still normal.
Yeah. They're still people, and they should be treated as such. Okay. What are some of the physical signs of Prader-Willi syndrome, Andrea?
Like I said earlier, being on the shorter side is one of the signs. Having an appetite that you can't feel when you're hungry is a huge part of having Prader-Willi, because you think about food all the time. You're never satisfied with what you have, and that stresses me out a lot of times because, I look at the lunch table at day program and say, ooh, they have a lunch better than mine. I constantly think about food and how my food could be better than what I have. But I just deal with it because, that's what I have to do in life. And then you have different facial features, and you have like floppy hands, and some people do have that, but some people don't. Like, as I've been telling you, it's a spectrum. Like most disabilities, like autism has a spectrum.
That's why it's called the autism spectrum. That's why when people say they have autism or ADHD or Asperger's syndrome, they say they're on the spectrum.
Yes. There could be people like more on the spectrum, like they can't like walk or talk or do stuff like I do. And I'm at the spectrum where I can live pretty much independently, but with help.
Yeah.
It's not fair to put everyone into the same box because they have a few similar traits to one autistic person or another autistic person. It's just not fair to put everyone in the same box. But anyway, is there anything else you would like to share about yourself or Prader-Willi syndrome?
Well, basically, I just want to be treated like everyone else. Don't put people with disabilities out and say, oh, they're not good enough or stuff like that. We would just want to be treated like the rest of the world.
That's not really a lot to ask for.
No, it's not.
And schools should be better about treating with people with disabilities better than I was treated back in school, in public school.
Easier said than done, but we could all dream, right?
Yeah, it's a kind of a hard balance. We need to be able to treat these people with disabilities with the same amount of respect as a normal human, but at the same time their needs are greater than ours, and we can't always provide for everyone, especially in an economy like this.
People with disabilities can have jobs. They can live somewhat normal lives, but except, maybe get your license or anything like that. But I know multiple people that, or at least one that drives, and he does okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, society needs to find a balance between helping and learning and teaching people how to be independent.
Yeah, we do. We got to find a balance somewhere.
Like a plate spinning on a stick. If one side gets too heavy, the whole thing will come crashing down.
Yep. It will. Amen to that. I'm afraid that is all the time we've got today. Thank you, Andrea, for joining us.
You're welcome, and I'm happy to share about my disability.
I know this was probably not easy for you. Thank you, our listeners, for choosing to spend this time with us. We will see you next week, where we will hopefully be talking about something a little less heavy. No offense, Andrea. People's disabilities are definitely worth discussing. We need to bring awareness to these diseases so we can find some workarounds to help these people with these disabilities, and maybe we can find a cure for these diseases one day. I mean, genetic diseases are going to be a little bit harder, but maybe a little further down the road there can be some kind of treatment and she can live a normal life.
That type of idea is a little too complex and broad to put it into one perspective or another. So, take that last statement with a grain of salt, if it may be.
Yeah, sorry, I can get a little carried away.
Yeah, but there's no one size fits all when it comes to this sort of stuff. Everyone's opinions will differ, and that's okay.
Anyway, we've got to go. We will see you next time.